and put my big rope up there and pull it. This is the one that I ripped the limbs out of. Got it tied way up there in the top on the rope. Running out there to the Mini. I'm gonna bore this one. Leave a pretty good hinge on it. Kind of cheated over just a little bit to the right of that little small oak right there. And let her go down through that hole toward the Mini. All right, so I've got it notched and I've got it bored. The rope is holding it. There's a trigger right there. And so I'm gonna go over here and hop on the Mini and break that trigger. Pull it over. What tree's got some back lane in it? Once you start, you go. Don't mess around because you want that thing to pivot. See, even though I had that thing aimed to this side of that little oak, it drifted over here toward that hickory right there. Those old leaners, man, they can get you in trouble if you ain't careful with them. See y'all what this stump looks like before I trim it off. See, this is a trigger that I left right there. Pulled out of it. And then this is the hinge. You can see the right there in it. You can see it really good right there. I've got those two little guns, and we'll cut that big one down. We'll drop that big one right down through there. So that rope I use is the pull that tree over with is a 5/8 stable braid. Stable braid is pretty much the best rigging rope that you can buy. You can get it from all your like Sherrill Tree, you know, Bartlett. All of them should have it or whatever. But the first rope that I use to pull the limbs out, a lot of times I'll do that. Sometimes I'll reach up, like that one limb I reached up with the machine and grabbed it and just broke it down. So I'll do that sometimes if I can, in the area where I've got enough clearance. I'll throw a throw line up and I'll break limbs out, you know, by hooking it to the machine. The only thing about doing that is you need to use an older rope that you've got to do that with, because that can be pretty rough on the rope. You wouldn't want to stick a brand new stable braid up in there, you know, and pull on it like that, because that pulling on those limbs and closing them up or whatever, it can do a lot of damage on your rope. You might trim some of it out of it. But that first rope, the red rope, was a 1/2 inch. That's primarily what I use. If you order any ropes, always get your ropes 200 foot. Don't get anything. I mean, you can get away with a 150. I don't like 150s. The 200s are the sweet spots. Always order 200s to get them. That stable braid don't cost that much. It's not real bad. And that, after that, right there with that stable braid, I'd been using that one in February, will be 2 years. And so you can get a lot of life out of it if you take care of them. There's no telling how many trees that thing's pulled, limbs lowered, things like that. A lot of times though, what makes my ropes last a long time is before I start rigging stuff, I've rarely let the rope ride on the crotch. I've always got something in the tree, a pulley or a carabiner or something up there to where the rope goes over it and it's not rubbing on the crotch of the tree, because that's what eats your ropes up a lot. So on that stuff like that, 1/2 inch does really well. When I get into kind of a little bit more harder pulls, some heavier trees, I'll step up to the 5/8. And that's what I used on that tree, and then the one in yesterday's video was a 5/8. And then if I want to pull the world around, I use my 3/4, and I didn't need it on them. The 5/8 was more than sufficient enough, because I went up in my lift and put the ropes all the way up in the tip top of the tree, and you got all kind of leverage with the mini excavator out there, because that mini with that grapple on it weighs a little over 13,000 pounds, and it's got the power to pull and do what you need to do. But so watching ropes as you use them, always look at them and everything, and look over them and inspect them, because you don't want a rope to break. And like with that one there, you could see when I started the video how far back over that building that thing was leaning. And I take those limbs out to reduce some of that weight over on that other side, because sometimes a tree will want to, as it starts to come over and those limbs are like way out, as the tree starts coming over, the limbs will make it want to kind of twist on that hinge a little bit. And it can, if the wood is kind of compromised, it's got some rot in it, a lot of times a hinge it'll be weak, and as it starts to come over and the weight of those limbs are pulling on that thing, because you got to think, if you got a limb that's, say, 35, 40 foot long, and it starts out off the tree, that big around, or something that's running out there, it's no different than putting a big cheater pipe on like a ratchet to break a nut or bolt loose. It does the same thing on that tree. And then if the tree's foliaged out, full of leaves, you've got even more force on it, more weight on it, where it wants to twist it. So I've had several of those trees like that, those leaners like that didn't hit anything, but I didn't take none of the top out of them, none of the limbs out of them. And me and Chris have pulled them, and they'll get to a certain point a lot of times, like those water oaks, and they'll go at a 45-degree angle from where you want them to land. So I've just gotten to where I take the limbs out of them. It takes a little bit more time to do it, but oh my gosh, it's so much more safer, or ease on my mind as far as doing that. So a lot of y'all follow me on Instagram and seen some of the stories, and then the pictures, or one picture that I posted with Chris. I spent a few days with Let's Dig up in North Carolina, helping him build. It's supposed to be a pond dam, but this thing is basically a giant lake dam. It was about 15,000 yards of dirt that got moved this week, and he's got the 550 excavator. So you're going to see quite a few videos. I got a bunch of drone stuff. I got a bunch of a couple time lapses of some really good stuff, because man, the dirt moved really quick with that 550 Volvo excavator, and so you're going to see quite a few videos coming up from that. On the excavator, the bulldozer, haul truck, everything, whatever. So be some good stuff coming up on that here in the near future. I got tons and tons of video to kind of go through. So I'm gonna get this video up and get it uploaded, and then I'll get it published on Sunday morning and everything. So hope y'all all have a great weekend. We'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.